Recording. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. So yesterday, Baruch Hashem, was Parshat Shkolim. So we had a chance to talk about money. And today begins Parshat Truma, which is also about wealth. And we have an immediate problem in the first pasuk. Okay, good. That was my fault. That question. Daber b'nei Yisrael v'yikuli truma me'ez kol ish asher yidvenu libo tikhu etz trumasi. So the pasuk seems to contradict itself in its very words. The word v'yikhu means to take, doesn't mean to persuade, doesn't mean to appeal to a person, doesn't mean to easily take from him. Yikhu, the take. We find later that Esav said to Yitzchak, "Es b'chorosi lokach," he took my b'chorah. So there's an emphasis there on the fact that it's coercive. Then it says, "Me'esash kol ish asher yidvenu libo." From everybody that he has donative intent, he has a good heart, he wants to give. Tikhu es trumosi, take it. Again, it should say, "Me'ez kol ish asher yidvenu libo yitnu." They will give my truma. Why does it say again, tikhu? So the Mefarshim explain, you're the Torah l'sov daito shalodam. The Torah deals with us, and it deals in reality. It doesn't invent things about people. The Torah l'malachei ashores. The Torah is not given to angels. The nature of people is that they don't want to give. What's brought into our nature from the moment that we are born. We're born with clenched fists. We're born to hold on to what we have. And therefore, it is foreign to us, it's alien to our nature that we should somehow give it away, especially to give it to others. Who says that they are more deserving than I am of holding on to my money? You want to build a mishkan, so let the Rabbi Wein build a mishkan. Why do we have to build it for him? Rabbi Wein said himself, Hashem. It all belongs to me anyway, so if it belongs to you, what do I have to give? And that's the nature of people. That's the true nature. And that's why it says, Yikhu is true must. You have to take it from them. So then what's pshat is called Yishasher Yidvenu Libo. The Torah seems to imply that it's given from the heart. It's given from a voluntary method. It's not that yikhu, there's no strength to take it. So there are two streams that the Mefarshim talk about, both of which psychologically are correct. And we know it from ourselves. Until the person gives, he doesn't want to give. He objects to it. It's against his nature. He feels put upon. But once he gave, he feels good about it. All of a sudden, he realizes he did a good thing. And he feels very happy about it. So that's called Asher Yidvenu Libo. The Moshe Shalom says, first tikhu es trumasi, take it. You'll see later on the person will be happy that he gave it to. He'll be satisfied that he did a good thing. And that is also part of our nature. Part of our nature is to be charitable, because when we're charitable, we feel good about ourselves. We feel purposeful. We feel we did a great thing. So you have this emotional and psychological conflict which exists always when it comes to fundraising, so to speak. I remember the Ponevezh Rav and I was driving him. We were going to go see a Jew to collect money. And this Jew was well known to be a miser. He was a very wealthy man, but excuse me, he didn't part with his money. So I said to the Rav, you know, maybe there are easier people we can go see. He didn't know I want to go see him. Okay, the Rav wanted to go see him. So we went to see him, and Ponevezh Rav was a master fundraiser, masterful person. And he worked on this guy 15, 20, 30 minutes until finally the man had no choice but to write out the check. And he gave him the check. So on the way out, I said to the Rav, maybe we should go and certify the check in the bank, you know, we'll think about it. He said, Chas v'sholom, that you should even think like that. He said he's happy. He rejoices. We took the money out of him. He said, I'll tell you a story that the Chafetz Chaim told me. Ponevezh Rav knew the Chafetz Chaim very well. So he said the Chafetz Chaim told him that once he went to see a Jew, he was building, then they were building a brick building for the yeshiva in Radin, because every few years the whole town burned down because it was always thatch and only wood. So he wanted to build a substantial building for the yeshiva. And he went to this Jew and he asked him for money. And the Jew hemmed and hawed and this, and he said, you know, he's not liquid. You know, people with money are never liquid. Only poor people are liquid. He said, yeah. So the Chafetz Chaim said, well, you can't, you know, thank you for seeing me and goodbye. 4 years later, the First World War broke out, and Jews went into exile. The Russians exiled Jews deep into Russia. The Chafetz Chaim, the yeshiva, it was stopped in 4 different cities where during the exile, until the war was over and they could get back to Poland. So one of the cities that they were exiled, they didn't have anywhere to sleep, so they slept in the beis medrash. They went to the shul and they slept on the benches. The Chafetz Chaim noticed that this rich man, who no longer was a rich man, because the war had devastated everything, was also sleeping there. So the Chafetz Chaim turned away purposely. The man shouldn't see him, so he shouldn't be embarrassed. But the man did see him. And he came over to him and he said, Rebbe, I have a great complaint to you. And the Chafetz Chaim said, you have a complaint to me? What did I do? He said, he told it to me in Yiddish, it gedaft a reisen the geld from me. He had to rip the money out of me. Why did you let me go? He said, because now I don't have the money, but at least I would have had the mitzvah. But now I don't even have the mitzvah, I don't have the money. So the Punavajirova said, that's the attitude that you have to have. V'yikhuli as trumosi. Take the truma, stand on the guy's head, force him to give you. Don't take no for an answer. Afterwards, he'll thank you. Afterwards, he'll appreciate it. Afterwards, he'll be on your toes, so to speak, as to what you did for him. Because after the person gives, it's always a sher yidvenu libo, that he's happy, his heart is happy that he gave. And therefore, you should always tichu as trumasi, to try and take it, never to be embarrassed about it. And Ponavishov used to say to me every morning when we set out, he used to say, who are we going to do a favor with today? And he really meant it. He was doing them the favor. They weren't doing him the favor. So that's an attitude in life. And that attitude is reflected in the parsha. And that's why the Rebbeinu Shalom needs us to build the Mishkan for him. Not because he needs us, but we need it. Because if we build the Mishkan, then we're happy with it. Then it means something to us. It's our investment, so to speak. That's a schus, both in this world and in the next. And something very important to bear in mind. So have a very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. Rabbi Chananya ben Akashi Omer Rotza Kodesh Baruch Hu L'Zakos Ish Yisrael L'Ficha Chirbo Lahem Torah Mitzvot Shenemar Aranoi Chafetz Saman Tzidko Yadim Torah B'Yadim Yiskadal 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 Yiskadal